The Lord said to Moses, I am going to come to you in a dense crowd, so that the people will hear me speaking with you and will always put their trust in you. Then Moses told the Lord what the people had said. And the Lord said to Moses, go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow. Make them wash their clothes and be ready by the third day. Because on the third day, the Lord will come down on Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people. Put limits for the people around the mountain and all that. Exodus 19, verse 9, verse 10. We are talking about activating divine encounter. And the Lord told Moses he wants to appear to people so that they can trust Moses. And the Lord appeared in this form. In verse 16, on the morning of the third day, there was thunder and lightning with a thick cloud over the mountain and a very loud trumpet blast. Everyone in the camp trembled. Then Moses led the people out of the camp to meet with God. I love that. Exodus 19, verse 16, in verse 17. Then Moses led the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Mount Sinai was covered with smoke because the Lord descended on it in fire. The smoke billowed up from it like smoke from a furnace, and the whole mountain trembled violently. As the sound of the trumpet grew louder and louder, Moses spoke, and the voice of God answered him. I love that. Divine encounter. As I keep on saying, there is no way you can encounter the divinity and you remain the same again. Through this encounter, God was doing an impartation into the people. Number one, to trust Moses. Number two, to fear God. Number three, to enable them obey God with ease, because they had an encounter. So they are not walking with God as an enigma. It is God that they have experienced. So they don't need Moses to explain to them about God. They have already experienced his force. And he came in expression of his majesty, authority, sovereignty, supremacy. You get that? That even people trembled. The mountain was quaking. There were billows of smoke. There was trumpet blast. Yani, it is an experience that was wonderful to experience. But as much as we want to encounter God in whatever form, because you are seeing every episode, God is appearing in a different form. Our positioning is key. Because God does not appear in a reckless manner. He is a honorable God. He is a dignified God. He is the most optimum God. He is the eternity of eternities. So he is not a God of raw standards. How were they made to position themselves? Or this divine encounter of God observed what? Number one, consecration. The Lord told Moses, I want to meet with these people. And Moses led them out to go and meet with God. I love that. Number one, for you to have an encounter with God, number one is consecration. He told them to prepare themselves for 3 days by washing their clothes, by abstaining from sexual activities, and by washing their bodies with water. A picture of purification, a picture of sanctification, a picture of repentance. Very important. Number two, the Bible says Moses led people out of the camp to go and meet with God. They did not go to meet with God as themselves. They went to meet with God by Moses. So, meaning for us to have an encounter with God, we must make sure there is a spiritual authority on us, because God reveals himself in regard to his honor to his anointed one. So many people who are struggling with rebellion, they are struggling very, very much with the spiritual father-son struggles. There is a problem, because God instructed Moses, I want to appear to these people. And Moses led them to go and meet with God. So in a nutshell, what I want to say is this. For God to reveal himself to us, there must be a Moses on our head. There must be a spiritual authority. If you like it, a spiritual father. The next thing is limit. For God to appear to us, we must observe the set out divinity boundaries. Put a limit for them, because if they cross there, it will no longer be an encounter, it will be a catastrophe. That even if the animal should touch the mountain, would die. The things of God always have some set boundaries of fear and honor we must observe. The other thing, that was to avoid familiarity. Again, that boundary. But the next thing of very importance is, where did God appear? On the Mount Sinai or Sinai. For God to appear to us. And remember, this is a whole church of a break, 1.6 million fellowship. He appeared where for them? At Mount Sinai. They could hear his voice clearly. They could see manifestation of the greatness of God in different forms. Fire, smoke, lightning, earthquake, thunder, what else was there? A trumpet blast. They could hear the voice of God. Where? On the Mount Sinai. You must be on the altar. God appears where there is a legal ground, purposely for him. He does not appear anywhere, anyhow. He appears on Mount Sinai. You must be operating from an altar of God. These people, after this encounter, the Lord told them, if you're going to obey, you will be my treasured possession. If you encounter God vividly, in a manner that it is convincing that that was God, not a masquerading demon like Angel of Light, from there you become the treasured possession of God.